Hello guys. Today I'm going to show you a new meta shrapnel build from the new update The Way of Winter. It's the colorful new Shrapnel LMG, the MG4 Conflicting Memories. As I said in my last video, we are going to utilize the forgotten shrapnel key gear, the cage helmet. I did some more testing since phase 1, and found that this gun is actually a lot better than I thought. Damage-wise, I believe it's better than the SOCR the last Vela. Although there are some drawbacks with this gun. You move very slow with this gun and the accuracy is pretty bad. But the enormous magazine size and raw DPS definitely makes up for it. With that being said, let's get right into it. First of all, this is a shrapnel build. So what is shrapnel? You can see on this underlined words here. Upon hitting an enemy with a bullet, deal 50% attack as weapon damage to a different random part. The element type is the same as the weapon's element. The additional damage can crit, strike weak spots and will decay with distance. Okay, so we know what shrapnel is. How do we trigger it? Let's read what the gun does. I'm going to use the weapon feature from before it's bugged. If you read yours in game it will look like this. Again, this is bugged and the correct one is the old one, which is this. Trigger shrapnel after 12 shots on target. For every 40 magazine capacity, parts hit by shrapnel +1, up to +4. For every 15 magazine capacity in excess of 100, shrapnel damage +8%. Magazine capacity +40. So to recap, you need 160 bullets on paper to maximize the gun's effect. But you actually need 161 bullets. If you only have 160 bullets, you will lose 1 shrapnel hit part and 8% shrapnel damage. You can get that with 26% magazine capacity, which is very easily obtainable from mod suffixes and other gear effects. If you decide to go for more than 161 bullets, you won't get more shrapnel damage. So I suggest you get other substats and optimize your own substats accordingly. So what key gear do we use? As we all know, there are 3 key gear for shrapnel: gas-tight helmet, cage helmet and the beret. Let's do some math. As we talked about earlier, shrapnel is weapon damage. WD here is weapon damage. And the base damage for shrapnel is 50% or half your weapon damage, multiplied by 100% plus your shrapnel damage. So if you have 32% shrapnel damage, then your shrapnel damage is 132% multiplied by your weapon damage. So if we just the shrapnel damage without factoring crit, weak spot hit and other factor, this is what we got. 126% weapon damage for gas-tight helmet. 396% weapon damage for beret. And 660% weapon damage for cage helmet. As I said in the intro, cage helmet is no longer useless. Let me explain how I get the number of shrapnel. Right now I'm wearing no gear, no mods and no cradle buff so you can see easier. I'm using purple mag which doesn't add magazine capacity. I'm going to unequip and re-equip my gun so I can reload it. We have 115 bullets right now, that means we should have +2 shrapnel hit part. There, we see 3 shrapnel, right? Let's look at that again. Notice how the shrapnel hit one place and branches out to other places. The shrapnel that actually hit the dummy is called base shrapnel, while the ones branching out are what we call shrapnel hit part. Now I will equip my gold magazine to increase my magazine capacity, increasing the shrapnel hit part. We have 135 bullets right now, that means we should have +3 shrapnel hit part. As you can see, 1 base shrapnel and 3 shrapnel hit part. Now if we try Beret. With 161 plus bullets, we should have 1 base shrapnel and 5 shrapnel hit part branching out of the base shrapnel. Because we have +4 shrapnel hit part from the gun and +1 shrapnel hit part from the Beret. So we should see 6 total shrapnel numbers. As you can see, 1 base shrapnel and 5 shrapnel hit part. Again. Now we use cage helmet with 161 plus bullets. We should see 10 total shrapnel numbers. 2 from base shrapnel, because cage helmet makes you trigger shrapnel twice. And 8 shrapnel hit part. For branching from each base shrapnel. Unequip and re-equip to reload. Taking off my hat so you guys can see I'm wearing cage helmet. Again. Now we know what key gear to use. How do we build the gun? The best build for this gun is crit. That means we use 4-piece Lone Wolf, 1-piece bar steel and the cage helmet. For the weapon mod we want Shatter Them All. Or Shrapnel Souvenir if you want even longer shooting time. For the accessory, stability is for vertical recoil. And accuracy is how much your bullets spread. So you can choose what you like. The gold mag is important for extra 20 base bullets. It is located here inside this ice rock if you're in the way of winter server. Just throw a Molotov at it. It's here in Blackfell if you're in the Manibus server. For the calibration, we want rapid shot style with 2x crit rate. For the helmet mod, we want Fateful Strike. For the increased crit rate and crit damage. You can also use Momentum Up if you don't have good Fateful Strike. For the mask mod, we want Targeted Strike. Because explosive shrapnel is too slow and shrapnel carnage doesn't really do much since we don't stack weak spot damage, but if you're using Shrapnel Souvenir, you can use Shrapnel Carnage. For the top mod, we want Crit Damage Amplifier, Munition Amplifier or a gold defensive mod with good suffixes. For the pants mod, we want Deadshot, or Bullet Siphon if you don't have a Deadshot. For the gloves mod, we want Crit Boost for maximum crit rate, or Crit Amplifier for extra crit damage if you don't have Crit Boost. For the shoes mod, Covered Advance is always best in slot. You could also use Ruthless Reaper so you don't need to reload when facing small enemies like in silos or in map exploration. I'm in the way of winter server, so you can copy and paste my Cradle. If you're in a different server, look for Cradles for shrapnel, weapon damage or something PVE related. For the secondary, Wildfire is best for this gun, since you can easily spread marks and get increased attack. I use portable style calibration for fast switching and running, but you can use rapid shot style or precision style if you want more damage on your Wildfire. Since we are using Fateful Strike, you want 2 times crit rate on the substat. But that is not really necessary. For the mod, you want Vulnerability Amplifier for extra damage to your marked enemies. For the melee I use Long Axe to trigger Fortress Warfare. For the mod I use Final Territory for extra buffs when Fortress Warfare ends. Thanks for watching. If you liked the video, don't forget to give it a like and consider subscribing. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Have a good one.